Hello and welcome. My name is Raymond German. I'm a real estate entrepreneur as well as a property lawyer here in Nigeria. In this particular video, we're going to be revealing a scam strategy, if you would permit me, or a strategy that people have been using to scam clients, people who are buying into real estate in Nigeria. The truth about it is this has been happening for a while now. Sometime last year, we had a couple of transactions like that in the course of investigation, we had to discover, and then we had to advise our clients not to purchase such properties. The truth about it is there's a transactional end or angle to this, and there is also the actual scam end to this. I'm going to explain, you'll better understand it as we proceed. So I need to say that again. So there is a transactional excuse or explanation to this first. And then secondly, there is another end to it that is a complete scam. There is a second end to it that is a complete scam, and you need to watch out and pay attention. And then importantly, do your due diligence properly so that you know when it is transactional and can be excused, or when it is a pure scam. And yes, this video is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, a real estate company registered here in Nigeria. We bring you the best of real estate. We share investment opportunities with you. And then importantly, we also educate you so that you know how to safely and rightly invest in real estate in Nigeria. Whatever your need would be as it relates to real estate, where the company to reach out to. Part of our priorities are to ensure that when you're buying into land, that they are lands that will appreciate and then give you good return on investment. You're looking at buying into houses, and of course you also like to look at the issue of rental income, basically cash flow, so that your house doesn't become a liability of set of costs. You're looking at just retiring to that house, right? So yes, this video is brought to you again by Fortreal Rei Ltd. And very importantly, if you're yet to subscribe to our channel, please do subscribe and stay in touch. Turn on notifications so that you will be notified whenever we post amazing content like this very one. The truth about it is you don't get this kind of knowledge everywhere. It is rare for you to see this kind of knowledge, especially online. And with our knowledge, you are able to become real estate literate. And by your real estate literacy, you are smart and knowledgeable enough to avoid certain scams, right, in the real estate sector in Nigeria. So I'll just go straight right into the conversation. Now, I need you to understand that when a company says, or a client says, like I'll just restrict it to a company. When a company says, our property has a certificate of occupancy, at that level, that is good to hear. Everyone likes to see that, right? When you see it on the flyer, the company flyer, or designs as it were, that the land has a certificate of occupancy or the property has a certificate of occupancy, that is good to hear. Everyone really would love to have that. Now, where I need to pay critical attention to is the fact that a company being in possession of a certificate of occupancy or a title document doesn't mean that title is vested in that company. Now, being in possession is different from having interest, title, and ownership vested by virtue of that certificate of occupancy. So this conversation is ordinarily supposed to be a technical one. It's professionally based, but of course, I'm not doing the video for professionals or lawyers. I'm doing the video for clients, people who are buying into real estate, right? So I'm going to try to be as basic as I can, right? Even though it is a technical conversation. So basically, the whole idea of the certificate of occupancy flows or derives its essence from the Land Use Act. There's no need to go into details with that. Let me just focus on what I need to share with you. The fact that I'm going to hope that you can see this. It is possible for Fortreal Rei Ltd to have bought this land, and this land has a certificate of occupancy. So I'm going to have to use a diagram to explain the point I'm going to have to make. So shortly display on your screen, but just first of all have it at the back of your mind that there are 3 boxes, right? And I'm sure you are seeing it on your screen already. Now the first box, you have Fortreal Rei Ltd. That is we now, a real estate company. Now it is possible, or we can buy land from a community and then eventually apply for a C of O or get a direct right of occupancy or certificate of occupancy from the government, right? However, we basically have a certificate of occupancy in our name, and the C of O has Fortreal Rei Ltd written on it. Now the last box, jump this second box and look at the last box. In the last box is the buyer, somebody who wants to buy a land. That possibly could be you, right? This last buyer wants to buy a land from, let's give this guy in the middle the name of Ojo Limited, or forgive me, let's just make it ABC Limited, right? Now this guy in the middle is ABC Limited. Okay, so ABC Limited is another real estate company, and they have possibly reached out to Fortreal Rei Ltd, but eventually they had a way to lay hold of this C of O that belongs to Fortreal Rei Ltd, or that has the name of Fortreal Rei Ltd on it. Now they are using that C of O to want to sell to you, the buyer, or Mr. B, the buyer. Now, by virtue of law, by virtue of Nigerian property law, ABC Limited cannot rely on the C of O of Fortreal Rei Ltd to sell land to Mr. B, who is the buyer. The only way it is possible that this land actually, or like already established, this land that Fortreal Rei Ltd owns belongs or has a certificate of occupancy. We are not denying the existence of that certificate of occupancy. We are not saying the certificate of occupancy is not genuine, but the only way that ABC Limited will have the right to sell to Mr. B, or to sell to you based on that certificate of occupancy, is the fact that there is already an existing connection between Fortreal Rei Ltd and ABC Limited. It is that connection, that transfer of title from Fortreal Rei Ltd to ABC Limited that will further give right to you to buy that property, right? So if there is no connection, or again, it is possible that a land 1,000 square meters has a certificate of occupancy, and the certificate of occupancy is carrying the name of Fortreal Rei Ltd. Indeed, that party has a certificate of occupancy. The only way you can legally and safely buy that property is if, number one, Fortreal Rei Ltd sells directly to you, or number two, Fortreal Rei Ltd sells to ABC Limited and ABC Limited sells to you. So there has to be a deed of assignment between Fortreal Rei Ltd, or a document of transfer at an almost 100% level. What should transfer title from Fortreal Rei Ltd to ABC Limited is a deed of assignment. I'm not going to have to bring in the application of Section 23 of the Land Use Act, but let's leave it at that. It's a very tiny exception to this, and that is where you must contact your property lawyer, right? But at the basic level, where I need you to get it is, there has to be a connection and a transfer of title from Fortreal Rei Ltd to ABC Limited before ABC Limited can successfully sell to you or Mr. Buyer. So again, there are only two ways that you can buy this property successfully and safely that has a C of O. Again, the property can have a C of O, but the C of O is not in the name of ABC Limited. And the only way ABC Limited can sell this property that has a C of O that is carrying the name of Fortreal Rei Ltd is for ABC Limited to show proof of ownership or proof of transfer from Fortreal Rei Ltd to ABC Limited. And at that point, ABC Limited can successfully sell to you. Now, here is the scam. What happens based on this theory or what I just explained is that ABC Limited can possibly have a hold of this C of O and then begin to use it to sell property to the buyer without having any proof of transfer from Fortreal Rei Ltd to it. And that's where you have to really pay attention. So the fact that the land itself has a certificate of occupancy is good, but if the certificate of occupancy is not carrying the name of the person selling to you, then you also have to now ask for a connection, a legal connection, or a proof of transfer from the person whose name is carrying that certificate of occupancy to the person who is selling to you. We had a series of times where we had to do investigation, and when you ask for a search, or let's ask them to forward the document, what they do is, of course, they'll forward you the documents. And at the end of the day, you want to buy a property from ABC Limited, but the document they sent to you carrying the arrow of O or seal for any other legal document is carrying another name entirely. The moment it's carrying another name entirely, when you go and do a search, you will still find what has been handed over to you. But where you have to now pay attention is the connection between the what you found on the system and the person who is about to sell that property to you. And that's where the scam happens. So again, like I said, there's a transactional end to this that is okay, and there's also the scam end to it that is absolutely designed to defraud you of your money. This is supposed to be a technical conversation, but I hope you understood it in the way that I explained it, right? So whether you did or not, I think it's a good point to encourage and advise you to really involve professionals whenever you're looking at doing real estate or buying properties, or just basically having anything to do with real estate in Nigeria. Some of you like to use your relations. That is absolutely okay. But if your relation is not in the business of real estate, then your relation may not be able to understand certain things that play out in the real estate sector. When you need you have need for medical services, you call a medical doctor and not your relation who you love. So the idea of bringing in people who really don't understand it may not help. It's best that you use people who really know what they are doing or know the work, so that they are able to help you or guide you through the process of investing in real estate safely, right? So this video again is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, real estate company registered here in Nigeria, and we are here for you. We are committed to you. Just like you've just seen, we don't just tell you come and buy. We don't just tell you this property is available for sale. We also educate you so that you know how to safely, properly, and rightly invest in real estate. With the knowledge that we are sharing to you, you will also be knowledgeable enough to put us on check. That's how it works. That way we're able to have a good and sane real estate sector in Nigeria. If you're yet to subscribe, come on. This has really been amazing. I would encourage you to subscribe, and then also like the video, because I know you already do like the video, and then share this with a friend, share it with people that will need it. And then importantly, look forward to our next video, where we'll also be sharing other tips around real estate investment in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, bye-bye.